cannot be traced.
I'm going to come back to you. Let me talk to Reverend. Your initial assessment of that situation, because we need to get this out of the way. This was not religion.
No, it's not.
It wasn't.
Yeah, this cannot be religion. I believe it's more, especially, I've seen a lot of children sacrifice, a lot of children that are dead. I was watching your news earlier, and you can simply tell that this is not neither a church nor a pastor, but a group of people or somebody. He must be having help, first of all, that has come together to destroy. For me, as a pastor, I look at it as an agenda, first of all, of Satan to just mess up the whole, the church industry. But at the same time, you have to think about it from the perspective of the government not noticing. I've been thinking the whole day about the chief of the community.
And closing their eyes.
The chief of that community. Isn't there a chief in that community? Isn't there some neighbors who would actually do something about it? The police, because it's not an island. Shakahola seems to have a lot of people around it, but nobody did anything about it. So I want to reiterate what Pastor has said. This is criminal. This is not church. I heard it when you introduced it, said this is Christianity. This is not Christianity of any level. This is completely beyond what you can comprehend of someone making certain sacrifices. I listened earlier as there was someone talking about it on news, saying how the kids are killed when they refuse to fast. Now, fasting, from what we know it in the Bible, is not actually a means to an end. It's a means to a solution. And anything that done, the Bible talks about everything being done with moderation. You have to do it moderately. And a pastor will teach moderation. A pastor will teach common sense. Actually, I was saying, all these people seem to be lacking something called common sense. But as Bishop has said, brainwashing makes you lose your basic common sense.
I want to know what brainwashing is, but let me bring it to Takim, even the way you're sitting. And I know this is very key because you've been sharing a lot of videos of what has been happening, not only in the Kenya, but even elsewhere in the world. And this seems to be taking root. So initially, your assessment as you sit here of Shakahola and the outcome and possible outcome, because they're saying 300 people still missing.
Yeah, actually, thank you for bringing me here. And it's really unfortunate because in a sense, I feel very sad about this. And in another sense, I feel vindicated because for 9 years we'll be in this country and we'll be shouting these things. I've been preaching this, and they have called us names. They say we are this. There have been a lot of conspiracy among pastors against us on this same issue. We have been warning about this, and I actually feel vindicated because this is one of the things that the Bible called the horrors of the last days. And Jesus said one of the major signs of the last days is deception. It's a major sign of the last day. And if you look at it, this criminal activity has been going on quietly. And if you look at a lot of our churches, the same thing is going on. It's just that it has not come out. Because one thing about evil, God programmed evil to destroy itself. Evil is programmed to destroy itself. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, do not resist an evil person, because evil destroys itself. So this man, who they say is a pastor, got to a point that his wickedness has destroyed him. Not just him alone. It destroys a lot of other people along with him. But there are others also, quietly like that, operating in this subtle way. And because like what Reverend Yap said, she said, where was the government? The government is there because this thing comes in a covering of church, covering of religion and all of that stuff. And one major thing which people maybe fail to understand as I see all this stuff is that the doctrine that brought this criminal activity is in the book of Matthew chapter 17. Where Jesus spoke about
captured in the Bible.
It's there in Matthew 17, yes. Where Jesus said this kind cannot go out except by praying and fasting. And that teaching have been twisted, has been mutilated. People don't even understand. Misinterpreted.
Yes.
Because when Jesus said this kind cannot go up except by praying and fasting, it was not referring to the kind of a demon. It was not referring to the kind of a demon that, because if you look at it within context, Jesus came down from the mountain. He met a man who was, his son was having convulsion. He could not be saved by the disciples. And Jesus now casted the spirit out easily like that, without asking for money or whatever. Now the disciples now met him privately. Why couldn't we cast this out? He now said, because you don't have faith. That was the first faith. He now went on to say, but this kind cannot go out except by prayer and fasting. But a lot of preachers have misinterpreted to mean this kind of demon. So you now see an average Christian, this problem I am having, I have to fast until it disappears. If I don't fast, it's not going to go. So to me, it's in the area of doctrine.
You have brought a very good perspective that I want to open for discussion now.